Leave it to Valve to just beat everyone to the punch, I guess. So the announcement that dropped yesterday out of nowhere was the GameCube, the new Steam machine. And frankly, I think this announcement could not have come at a better time. With all the talk recently about what the next generation of consoles is going to be, with the evolution of the console versus PC debate about what advantages each platform has over the other, and why the PC is just continually proving why the console is completely obsolete. Really, the only things that the console had going for it at this point were the fact that it was a little box you could put in your living room. Well, not anymore, kiddo. Here comes the Steam machine. And the Steam machine, from what we've seen so far, is basically just the exact thing that Xbox keeps saying that they're going to do in like a year or two. And it's something that I've said in previous videos that Valve should do. And that's why I flippin' want it so bad. In case you're somehow completely out of the loop and you got to this video without even looking at the title, the new Steam machine is dropping next year, and it's basically just going to be a roided up Steam Deck without the screen, which is perfect. That's what a lot of us have been saying they should do. The Steam Deck proved just how effective a piece of hardware could be if you streamline Steam's interface and treat it more like an all-in-one piece of machinery. And that's effectively what the Steam machine is going to be. It's a little box, you plug it into your TV or your monitor if you want to use it as a desktop, and it has the SteamOS built in with that fancy little UI that the Steam Deck uses. Obviously, it'll be enhanced a bit, and they've already said that there's going to be a lot of Steam verifications coming along the way of games that are verified to run on the Steam machine versus the Steam Deck, since obviously the Steam machine is going to be much more powerful, about 6 times more powerful at that. And I think this is a fantastic idea. The Steam machine flopped hardcore the first time Valve tried it, but I think the first time Valve tried it, the industry just wasn't ready for it. You guys aren't ready for it, but your kids are gonna love it. PC gaming wasn't as mainstream back then, and there wasn't as much of a demand for PC gaming in a more physically console-based format. But now there is demand for that. There's so much demand for that that's basically what people are asking new consoles to be, and now here comes Gabe slamming this thing down on the counter before anyone else can. I love it. We don't know the pricing yet, and we don't know what the distribution strategy is going to be, because the Steam Deck is not sold in stores. You have to buy it online, but this Steam machine is presumably going to be targeting a much wider audience, which means it might be sold in stores. But then again, Valve has a weird relationship with selling things in physical stores. And then also, if you're going to sell it in stores, you run into the issue of having to mass produce more of them at once to send out stock to all the different retailers, and it's just a different scenario. And I think it really depends on what Gabe and Valve want to do with this, and they haven't announced that yet, but I think regardless of what they do with the distribution, this thing's going to be very successful. It's about time for the console war to die, and it's about time for everyone to realize that the PC was the one that was going to win all along. And all that it really took for the PC to win the console war was for the normies out there to stop looking at the PC as if it's some gigantic foreign piece of alien tech that they can't possibly understand. But naturally, since the Steam machine is now just proving wrong all of the misconceptions about PC gaming versus console gaming, the console fanboys, who are still holding on to this stupid console versus PC war, took it very personally, in a way that I found hysterical. So we're going to go through some of my favorite Twitter meltdowns about the Steam machine from console fanboys, and we're just going to have a nice little chuckle together. That's what we're going to do here. We're going to chuckle, because this is chuckle-worthy. The Steam machine doing well is going to be beneficial for you, even if you are a console gamer, because if the Steam machine does well, it's going to force console manufacturers to recognize that and be more open with their platform, to improve their platform, because now you have more direct competition with the PC, and the PC is, in terms of technicality, in terms of longevity, in terms of user benefits, in terms of basically everything in the gaming sphere, the PC is a better machine than a console if you are a gamer. And now there is direct living room hardware competition, which means the consoles need to get better or you switch. This is a good thing for you, unless all you care about is the logo on the box. Like perhaps Nintengod, who says, quote, "It's obvious that no one outside of Nintendo has any idea of how to navigate the gaming market. It is absolutely crystal clear that gamers have chosen the hybrid console as the now and the future, yet Xbox, PlayStation, Valve, Steam are still clueless. Easy Nintendo Switch W." Which I love. I love this. You saw this. This is exactly what I mean when I say people literally only care about logos. He's quote tweeting the Steam machine announcement. The Steam machine gets revealed, and your first gut reaction is to turn it into a Nintendo Switch 2 W. A Nintendo Switch 2W because the Steam machine exists. Okie dokie, buddy. The console war really is sending their best this year. But if you really want to look at this from a Nintendo versus PC standpoint, if gamers had chosen hybrid consoles and PC was just such an afterthought compared to the Switch, why would Nintendo be going out of their way seemingly every other week to take some kind of action against PC gamers? If the gamers themselves had so decisively chosen the winner, it's Nintendo over PC, it's Nintendo over everyone else, why would Nintendo be actively shitting themselves all the time about things like mods and emulation and the mere existence of a competing game like Pal World? Just a thought. We'll keep going. King Thrash says it might flop, still trying to figure out who this is aimed at. Do PC gamers want less powerful pre-built PCs with less freedom and minimal customization options? Will it have games built to utilize the hardware, or is it just the launcher box? Oh boy. It's aimed at anyone who wants a gaming machine in their living room or a gaming machine on their countertop, on their desk. It's aimed at all the same people that PCs and consoles are already aimed at. It is a piece of gaming hardware that plays games and plugs into a television. It is aimed at anyone who would want such things. Oh, do PC gamers want less powerful pre-built PCs? Well, depending on the price, I sure would like one, because a lot of PC gamers are like me, where we have our gaming PC at our battle station, and then we have a TV somewhere else that TV usually has like, I don't know, a Fire Stick. For me, it's an old launch Xbox One that I don't even know the last time I've booted a game on that thing. I literally just use it for Hulu. But if the Steam machine is fairly priced, I'd happily swap out my launch Xbox One for that thing. A lot of people would happily swap out their Fire Sticks for that thing, because it achieves all the things that your television already does, plus plays your games. Current PC gamers are not replacing their gaming PCs with the Steam machine. The Steam machine is just a nice companion piece to one. And if you are not a PC gamer already, then this is a very good entry point. It streamlines the process. It makes everything much easier to understand, and it puts everything in a box that is very easy for you to navigate if you are already familiar with game consoles. And as for this last part, will it have games built to utilize the hardware? Yes, those are called video games. Console fanboys just can't wrap their heads around the fact that just because a PC game is not built and optimized for the specific console hardware, like just because that doesn't happen doesn't mean the game runs poorly. Like, it's 2025 and console fanboys still think the word console optimization or optimized for the console's hardware, like it's 2025 and you guys are still talking like that actually means anything, as if console games that are optimized for the hardware never run like shit. And on the flip side, that PC games that are not optimized for the hardware, there's so many combinations of hardware, how can it possibly be optimized? Well, I mean, 99% of games run well, because PC gamers have a basic understanding of how to use graphic settings, but that's all you got, you know? You don't actually understand any of this, so you just have to start bringing up the old console war talking points. The Steam machine will be a piece of hardware that has a whole bunch of games, it has no online fees, it has cheaper games, it has the biggest ecosystem on the planet for digital games, but does it have games that utilize the hardware? Does it have games that are like optimized for the hardware? No, we can't get behind that now, can we? Because there's never been a game that was optimized for my PS5 and ran like dog water. That's never happened before. I'm going to forego all of the advantages of PC gaming for the simple fact that optimization exists in concept. I'm very smart. It's me, King Thrash. Rome says PlayStation is absolutely pulling their games off of PC after today's announcement. This one I love. I love this one. I want to get it framed. So you really think that Sony was porting their games to PC for additional revenue, for long-term sales, to get their toe in the water of a different market? But now that that market is growing, the market that they've expanded into and been trying to ride the coattails of, that market is expanding with the Steam machine. And now they're like, wait a minute, I changed my mind. Like, what? And I quote tweeted him. I said, Sony puts games on PC to make money. PC tech becomes more accessible. Sony takes games off PC because money is scary now. Okay. Like, it just makes no sense. Why would Sony put so much money into development of PC ports? Why would they try to expand into the PC market? Why would they buy a whole porting studio for PC ports if they didn't want to make as much money as possible on the PC? That makes no sense. But believe it or not, people actually got mad at me for quote tweeting this. This guy says they don't put their games to make money. That's why you don't understand. Read the financial report when they decide to port. I'm sorry. They don't port their games to make money. They don't port their games to make money.
Congratulations. That was one of the stupidest things that I've ever seen anybody post on the internet before.
The Gaming Ledger says Sony puts their games on PC to make long tail revenue. PlayStation games on PC are not big revenue generators. It's like 2% combined of total revenues. Full stop. Full stop. Launching games on PC is not long tail revenue. That's immediate revenue and long tail revenue. They launched Helldivers 2 on PC. They launched all their live service games on PC. They've launched several of their most recent remasters and remakes on PC. Day and date for single player games, new single player games is coming. Or at the very least, the wait is shortening. That's number one. Number two, PlayStation games on PC are not big revenue generators. Really? Then what's this? Just because it's not the most revenue being generated for them does not mean it's an insignificant amount of revenue being generated. This is still hundreds of millions of dollars they wouldn't have had otherwise. What else do you say? Valve attempt to join the hardware ranks again is in direct competition to Sony. They don't have the resources, budget, or scale to be direct. Sony sees the lack of revenue, but the Valve's hardware has potentially increased risk to PlayStation's adoption in the future. Sony sees revenue to risk and decides to change its strategy with PC. So what are you even trying to say here? You're trying to say that Valve is simultaneously a risk and not a risk to Sony? The PC already has a much bigger user base than the PlayStation, and PlayStation is already making a lot of money off of that base. But now that that base is becoming more accessible, at least the hardware that base is using is becoming more accessible, which means PlayStation would make more money off of that base, which should be a good thing. Now they see Valve as a risk in the hardware sphere, even though Valve is not a risk in the hardware sphere because it's indirect, but also it's direct. So now Sony has to change their strategy, even though that makes no fucking sense, because if someone goes with the Steam machine over the PlayStation, if someone goes with Steam machine over the next generation of PlayStation, or if you're trying to sell to one of the legions of people who have a PC and are open to PC gaming but don't want a PlayStation, you could be making money off of them by putting your games on their platform. The accessibility of the PC's hardware completely aside, this is a giant market of people you could be making money off of, and you are choosing not to make money off of them because you want them to buy your hardware first, even though this giant portion of people has already proven to you they don't want your hardware. Now, here comes a new piece of hardware, the Steam machine. Steam machine says, hey, we can give you a traditionally kind of console-ish experience, but it's a gaming PC. Okay, lots of people will adopt that model. PlayStation now has two choices. They can either improve their hardware and make their hardware a more proper competition, or they can make money off of the competition by keeping their games over there. You seem to be whining about the mere existence of competition, because you say it yourself. Sony had no problem putting these games on PC until the PC became available in a way that was more casually consumer friendly, the Steam machine, a more console presenting type of deal. Now Sony sees it's a risk. Now Sony's scared of that. Well, Sony could just make their own shit more appealing. Like, did you ever think of that? Like, what's Sony going to do now that there's competition? I don't know. Compete? Make their shit more appealing? But what if they don't want to do that? Okay, then get out of the market. That's how this works. The point I'm making is this. This Steam machine is going to be bought by people who either are PC gamers already and just want a companion piece. That's the field I fall into, in which case they probably don't give a shit about PlayStation as it is in terms of the hardware. They were probably very unlikely to buy the next generation of PlayStation hardware. Or the Steam machine is appealing to people who were on console and wanted to make the jump to PC eventually, but needed a stepping stone, which means they were probably not that interested in the next generation of PlayStation hardware if they were already intrigued by the PC. Those are probably the two biggest consumer bases for this thing. People who already are PC gamers or people who were already interested in becoming PC gamers. And both of those fields probably don't give a fucking hoot about the PS6. So why the fuck would Sony stop putting games on PC to sell to these people who were not going to buy their hardware in the first place? What are you talking about? Nick Marcial says, I love that PC fanboys keep claiming consoles are dead while Valve keeps trying to become one. Okay, but it's just not one though. Like it's literally not one. It is a PC in a small box. It's a PC that's being presented to you in a very simple format, so even somebody as mind-melted as a console fanboy can understand how to use it, because PC gaming is not actually that complicated. And console fanboys like yourself have spent the last several decades convincing normies that PC gaming is too complicated, and you should just be sticking with the corporate thing. You should just be sticking with the consoles with the cool logos on them. Don't go to PC gaming, it's too complicated. Then here comes a PC that's just in a simpler box, and you're like, that's a console actually. It's like, no, it's literally a PC. It is a PC in a simpler presentation. And the whole reason they're doing this is because people like you exist. People who cannot wrap their heads around things unless they are in the simplest format possible. So here comes the PC in the simplest format possible. And it's still somehow too complicated for you to understand. One more. Harmon Smith says, console gaming killed PC gaming so badly that Valve is now trying to enter the console space. Keck. I was going to say something funny, but the thing is, this is funnier than anything I could come up with, so I'm just going to leave it on screen. Like, I can't top this. I can't top this. Never mind the fact that Valve has a bigger player base already on the PC than any of the consoles do. Never mind the fact that the PC gaming sphere is growing while the console ecosystem is stagnant, and it seems like every big console executive is having meltdowns about like, the lack of growth in the console sphere. Meanwhile, the PC just keeps on growing. Steam just keeps on breaking concurrent player records. But no, console gaming killed PC gaming. Console gaming killed PC gaming, and that's why Valve is entering the console space, even though it's not a console. It's just a I'm tired, boss. I gotta tell you, boss. I'm tired, boss. Oh boy. I'm just going to do the Doofus Club. Oh no, it's CM Punk, Celerot, Joe Goose for Gaston. Here have 6 dozen eggs. Max Killer V2 Gaming, Nate, Elite, Bill, 3 Shar. I want to squeeze Harmon Smith's Temples, Grimsy, Sergeant Jason Bond, Unicorn, Rocco. It's a hard nug life. Nice dude, 1 Man Savage, People Up in Bowler, Hat Biscuit 101, no pay official drags. No, it's Snoop Docky Duck, Vector, Vintage Archery, Mechanical Resonance, Sick Nick, Mad Fox 94, XJ Induction, Bear Brain, Stick Rider, Broken Crayon, Profile of the Akin, Joe Rider, didn't remember my name. Joe's a fake fan. Devastator 2000, Jake Spider Monkey 1994, hashtag BanJTechTV, Schmo from Schmiels to Schmidt, Chris Void, Bass, Dennis, Gaming with Dead People, Muskie, Big Fudge, Bodie McBoatface, and the Modi McMoatface, Club Penguin, to Judge 06, Mold Theme, Relay Zord, Oracle, Blast 1314, Jimmy Chops, Master Killer, Fire Storm 2056, Tom Snorlax, and Unknown 186718, the letter H, live action Scooby-Doo from 2002, deserves an Oscar, Ed Shadowbear 1789, Bender Fondue, you're telling me of gingerbread this man, T-Train, Rising, Non Voila, High, Partial Main 8, Vox Auto, Cardman 4372, WX, The Gamer 127YT, Alder 1, Snake Eyes 327, Gimme Word 72, MQ99, 2396E, Hentai Machina Game, Fire Hazard 105, Tech J Gaming, Jungle Zone, Slim Jim, Lord Bowser II, Joe, Laughs at Us in the Moat, Gay Local Adult with Autism, PC Gamer, Shecker, Jeggers, Shecker, Jeshka Shepherd, Ricky Swell, Ricky Tabby, Atomic Dog. 49, Cream the Steel Angel, Harmon Smith, Fox's Probable Pikachu Plush, Daily, Baron Von Vada, Harm Sire, 6771, 2 Text 940. I looked at your face the entire video, lol, Lamau, Cree Warrior 23, Max at Chev, Simply the Chap. What the fuck? Totally insane. Welcome, Step Joe to Gara, weekly scheduled pegging. That's delicious. Night of Cypher, ML04, I own 6 copies of Clip 2006 on Blu-ray, Wolf of Midnight, Pig Beanie, Steve Win Studios, Film Kraken, Ohm Gaming, Tariq Brown, Thords, Gate, Maganex, Severin, Evans, Spaniel 3, Zakaline, Wire Master, Pow Pow, Donnie Weston, Nick, Gob Godson, Rogue Winter 19, Zach Thane, Kenny Kitten, Tammy, Heyman for Hire, El Lenoble, Frost, Soul By, Genesis, Floppy Pingus 97, Mega Keys, Scruffy Skull, Ghost Toad, Rear, Saudi, Ratchet, Dim, 794, Blue Hook to Winnie Wagon, Mr. Techno, Squeak, Jody Peters, Smitty, McCabe Testament, David Garcia, Gibikins, I American Idiot, Harmon Smith, the Chin, Ono, Justin Red, Rui Tweeny Wings, Wolf 7, Joe, oh my god, Retro, Wannabe Hobo, Westo, Jay's Fan, Respects the Mariners, Veg, Groove Banana, Curtin, Alice Pack, Sal, Hathan, hey Siri, tell me a joke about console fanboys. Did you hear me muffle the sure part of that? Because I didn't want to, my phone's right next to me this time. I didn't want to set it off. I didn't want to set that one off. Yeah, okay, Steam Machine looks pretty cool. It looks pretty fuego. Okay, toodles.